Welcome to Peculiar Tales, the show where we dive into the stranger things in history, urban legends, ghost stories, and, well, anything else we find peculiar. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Christy. All right, everyone, today we're going to be shaking things up. Dawn and I are each bringing a holiday tale or tradition to the table, and we're going to see whether the other person has ever heard of it before, or if it's a brand new story. All right, Dawn, shall we begin?
Oh, yeah.
All right. If you were walking through a quiet Welsh village on a cold winter's night, sometime between Christmas and New Year's, you might notice a hush in the air, the smoke curling from the chimneys, and the streets glistening under the dusting of frost. Then, in the distance, you hear it singing, laughter, and steady trampling of hooves on cobblestone. At first, you might think it's just a group of carolers or the echo of a local celebration drifting through the dark. But as you round the corner, something catches your eye, a figure both enchanting and a little eerie. A horse's skull decorated with ribbons, bells, and bright cloth, mounted on a pole, its jaw snapping open and shut, and its eyes seem to glow with mischief and mystery. This is the Mari Lwyd, one of Welsh's most fantastic folk traditions. It's a celebration full of life, laughter, and playful mischief, but it's also steeped in centuries of history, symbolism, and community spirit. The Mari Lwyd is a winter custom dating back at least 18 centuries, though many believe it may have begun much earlier, possibly even pre-Christian Celtic rituals. Its name is often translated as Grey Mary or Blessed Mary, depending on the interpretation. In Welsh tradition, a group of villagers carries the decorated horse skull from house to house, usually sometime between Christmas Day and the 12th night, the evening of January 5th, which marks the end of 12 days of Christmas. The procession that travels the streets is lively and colorful. At its center is the Mari Lwyd, drawing everyone's attention. Singers and merrymakers fill the air with music and cheer, guided by the leader who ensures that Mari Lwyd moves smoothly along its route. A group of accompanying characters joins in, adding charm and energy to the celebration. When they reach a house, the Mari Lwyd party knocks on the door and requests entry to the home in the form of a punco, a traditional rhyming contest or debate. The household and Mari Lwyd group engage in a playful back and forth, exchanging riddles, clever verses, teasing insults, and requesting for hospitality. The goal of the Mari Lwyd party is to be witty and persistent enough that the household eventually gives in and allows them inside. Once inside, the Mari Lwyd group brings joy, chaos, laughter, and sometimes a bit of mock mischief, snapping its jaw, playfully chasing people, or knocking cups off a table. In return, they are given food, drink, or small gifts. Traditionally, people allowed the Mari Lwyd to win. This is because welcoming the group into your home is believed to bring good luck to the household for the coming year. The procession continues from house to house, springing cheer and community spirit. Today, the Mari Lwyd is still celebrated in many Welsh communities and has even gained international attention for its uniqueness and charm, often drawing tourists. Modern groups keep the tradition alive with public performances and festivals. But for those who have experienced it in a quiet village on a cold winter's night, nothing compares to the magic of stumbling upon that snapping skull, jingling bells, and merry laughter echoing through the snow. The Mari Lwyd is far more than a decorated horse skull on a stick. It is history, folklore, community, and connection, mischief, and joy. It reminds us that even in the darkest winter nights, people coming together to create warmth, laughter, and sharing stories that last generations. So whether you see it as eerie, enchanting, or just plain fun, the Mari Lwyd stands as one of Welsh's most unforgettable and cherished traditions, a playful, living link to a rich folkloric history. And now, I have a question, Dawn. Did you know about the Mari Lwyd?
I did not.
You did not.
That is such an interesting story.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool little tradition.
So did I hear you right though? It was a horse's skull.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah, they
can we
decorate a
elaborate on
horse's
that?
skull on a post with fabrics and ribbons and bells, and they make the jaw do the snappy snap at people and
And the goal, like they're having a great time on the doorstep.
hmm
They have to, through antics, funny, joyously,
hmm
persuade these strangers to let them into their home.
hmm
And then once they're in there, if they're good enough, then the homeowners would be giving them tokens of,
Yeah, so essentially once they've gained entry, they put on like a little show, they play around with the people of the house, and then they're usually gifted food or drink or small gifts. And yeah, the whole point is to have this little banter with the party, but you pretty much always let them in because it's supposed to bring good luck to the house by letting them come in and spread the joy that they bring.
I would love to experience this one
Right?
time. Like if
I was quite excited when I read it. I was like, I really would love to be a part of this.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that would be an experience that would stay with you, especially for somebody touristing the area,
Right.
you know? But then again, if you're not expecting this,
Oh, if you didn't know it was
could you
happening and you
imagine
just
if
turned around.
could you imagine you're visiting somebody and they're not letting you in on it? And all of a sudden you've got a horse head decorated out there like a skull, all festive. People are happy. They're doing antics, and then they're coming in the house, and it's just this fun thing. Like,
Yeah,
how surprised would you be?
right. I think you'd be shocked, but the whole thing, the merry men and the singers and the accompanying actors and stuff like that are all there to make this a festive, joyful, little
Sounds
mischievous, fun thing.
way more fun than carolers. Can I
Right.
just say that? Nothing against the carolers. I do
No,
love caroling.
I love a good caroler, but it brings a little
But
something extra.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a great story.
Thank you.
Loved it. That is something I did not know about. Okay, so let's take a step away, Chris, for a second from that awesome story of antics and joy, because that's not what this story's about.
Oh boy.
Okay, so my story is not as joyous as yours. uh, every Christmas, twinkling lights and joyful songs fill the air. But Christmas has a different look around the world depending on where you are. You will find surfing Santas in Australia, midnight feasts in the Philippines, and spicy tamales in Mexico. Every culture celebrates with its own traditions, flavors, and magic. In this story, I will be unwrapping the folklore of the Icelandic Yule Lads and their mother Grilla. So grab your hot chocolate and settle in while we take a sleigh ride to Iceland. The Yule Lads and their mother Grilla are central to Iceland's Christmas folklore that for centuries have been passed down from generation to generation. So, with all the beautiful twinkly lights and holiday foods, songs, and merriment, there was a certain amount of worry among the children and the adults as well. Grilla, who is a child-eating ogress, has a husband and 13 sons. Each son, starting on December 12th, and for 13 nights, will come every night, one by one. You see, hundreds of years ago, they spun a tale that scared the children and adults so bad. In 1746, the Danish government put up a ban on telling the stories. Legend says Grilla would kidnap and eat the naughty children, and if you didn't get a new piece of clothing before the holidays, well, the Yule cat will visit you. And the cat, legend says, was hungry like Grilla. Now, the way it is described, Grilla is an enormous ogre. So this would be terrifying if you were a child. And the 13 lads, They were trolls who did misdeeds so bad that the adults were scared. Unlike their mother, the lads did not eat the children. They were highly feared by adults. You see, hundreds of years ago, the adults believed that trolls were a real thing, actually. And with the trolls back then conducting in a creepy way, well, this was to say the least more than scary. Each Yule lad is very different, along with the things they did. They ranged from mischief to terrifying. So bear with me as I go through the names. I will be using the English version. The first lad to arrive is Sheepcote Clod. From the 12th of December, his thing was to torment the sheep of the homes he encountered. Back in the day, the Icelanders would have their sheep stay underground in the winter. So you can imagine, during the Christmas season when they heard the sheep bleating, they naturally thought that Sheepcote Clod had found them. The sounds were ominous because the sheep was what has been described as the lifeblood of the farm. Sheepcote Clod had stiff legs, so moving around was hard. When the families thought they heard him, they waited it out because they knew he wouldn't stay long. The thought was that he had to leave quick to get in as many houses as possible. The second lad, Gullygawk. His thing was to arrive at the homesteads and hide in the gullies and wait for nightfall. When everybody was asleep, he then stole any milk that was available. Only the rich Icelanders had cows, and the farms had farmhands that worked, so by stealing the milk, everyone felt the loss of what the troll did, because the milk was the key ingredient for sauces for the holiday season. The third lad was Stubby. His thing was to go around Iceland and steal the household pans for the crusts that were left behind on them. Not a big deal, right? Well, it was to the people back then because pans were very valuable. Iceland had no iron on hand to simply make more. These sorts of things were imported and pricey. For the extremely poor, the pots were the only thing they had worth anything. Spoon Licker is our fourth lad, arriving on the 15th of December. He went around Iceland, broke into homes, and licked the spoons in those houses, having high hopes of getting a morsel to eat. Every lad had a deformity of some sort, and Spoon Licker's was that he was hideously thin from malnutrition. This was most unusual because when people thought of trolls, they normally depicted them as overweight or even beastly. The fifth lad is Pot Scraper. He's like his other brothers, and he likes to eat in large amounts. He broke into homes and ate pots, meat, sauce, seasonal vegetables that were cooked. Basically any leftovers. No biggie, right? Wrong. The people had to make any food last until the warmer months. To eat large amounts of food was considered wasteful. Once all the food was gone, they would have to decide if the fishing trip in the absolute bitter cold was to be made, or even slaughter an animal that could have been pulled through for the summer months. Lad number 6 arrives on the 17th. Bowl Licker reminds a person of the monster under the bed. Legend says that when the children were done eating the soup or pudding while laying in bed, this troll was laying underneath and would snatch up the bowl, the remaining food, and guzzle it down under the bed. Lad number 7 is Doorslammer. He made his way through Iceland. He snuck from home to home and would break in and bang as many doors as he could just to wake anyone who was sleeping during his visit. Maybe it was the cold winds from the winter creeping in the homes, making the doors slam. But the children were terrified, believing that Doorslammer was there making his way through his home. Yule Lad 8 is Skyr Gobbler. When Christmas comes around, that's usually when the best of the best meals are made. Everything from the best poultry, special pies and tarts, puddings, cookies, breads, and roasts. The skyr is a step above, being creamy and tasty. It is one of Iceland's delicacies, and over the holidays it is a beautiful complement to anything sweet or savory. Now, circling back to the gobbler, he also found this to be a very special meal. It goes without saying that the fear of this beloved special food was under watch so it couldn't be stolen at night from this troll. December 20th, the ninth Yule Lad. His name is Sausage Snatcher. Smoked meat is a favorite way to preserve meat in Iceland. Throughout the whole year, sausage that is smoked is called fuga. Diligence was needed from the 20th on because, unlike some of his thieving brothers who may have settled for crust from any food, this troll only wants fuga. As the legend goes, he waits in the rafters, and after the meal was cooked, he swoops down and takes what he wants. Window Peeper is number 10 on our list of frightful and menacing Yule Lads. He is arguably the creepiest of them all. Can you imagine, as a child, walking by your bedroom window at night and seeing a troll staring back at you? Well, this kept the children from wanting to go out in the dark, fearing that Grilla, the child-eating ogre, was always watching one way or the other. Doorway Sniffer, Yule Lad number 11. He was feared because, like some of his brothers, he would break into your home and steal the Icelandic delicacy of leaf bread before anybody could impress a guest with it. Children would have nightmares with the thought that he would enter the home and steal. He was described as a troll with a massive nose. Like, even for a troll, this was overly large and would go from house to house sniffing the doorways for the smell of the bread. Yule Lad 12 is known as Meat Hook. His thing was to lay in wait where he could hide in the kitchen, in the cupboards, under the table, closet, the rafters, behind a door. Didn't matter. And when he seen his opportunity to steal the meat, he'd snatch it up with his hook. Children were terrified. Like, imagine the thought of sitting at the table with your family to eat. All of a sudden, you have a troll jumping out with a hook, snatching the meat away. Also, he didn't care what kind of meat it was. Candle Stealer is the final Yule Lad to descend on the Icelandic during the Christmas season. He caused a lot of mayhem. Iceland at night is incredibly dark in the winter months. The darkness can last up to 20 hours a day, making at times candles an asset in the home just to see. The candles also made it possible for the Icelanders to take part in their favorite pastime of reading. During the Christmas, it's tradition to get together and read. So you can see how the candles were important. Okay, back to the troll. Like his brothers, he was hungry. So he stole the candles, but not for any kind of use, but for the tallow that the candles were made of. He found this pretty tasty, so he would follow the children to their rooms, snatch it from their hands because they were an easy target. Again, you're a child, and the thought has been now planted that a Yule Lad will be in your home, walking behind you, and then steal the only light you have. Terrifying. By the time families had to deal with the 13th Yule Lad, they found some peace knowing that it was almost over, because he was the last of them. All 13 lads, the mother, and the cat would go back into the mountains until next year. The modern version of the folklore is a lot tamer. So the originals had the lads being more mischievous than anything else. Well, they're now thought of as trolls who wear traditional red and white. They have fluffy beards and wide smiles. Legend says that they leave gifts in the shoes of children that are left out on the windowsills. But the mischievous children get rotten potatoes instead of the gift. Some refer to the Yule Lads as the 13 Santas of Iceland, and it has been said that they may think the lava formations is where they hide until the holiday season, which is North Iceland, while some feel that they reside in the mountains. In more recent culture, when Christmas season is here, the Yule Lads come down for the mountains and play with the children and entertain others. The Yule Lads in modern times now have come to be a delight at Christmas. a much more friendly version. So some of those names.
I mean, that mom really knows how to name them kids, huh?
So,
What are
okay,
those
now those are
names?
the English versions. So, not the English version. I'm sure that the names sound a little more terrifying.
Okay, but kind of right on the nose, aren't they? Window Watcher? That one's terrifying.
So, it's okay. So the thing is that way back, like I said, you're talking 15th, 16th, 17th century here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These lads have been around.
Right.
You've got people that they're still believing in trolls,
Right.
but they want these kids, right, to get their things done.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want the kids to not help with the dishes. So they're like, if you don't clean those dishes, pot licker's on his way,
Fair enough.
right? If you don't take care of the sheep, the other one's coming,
Mm-hmm.
you know? If you don't keep watch of your candles, he's coming. Like,
Right.
this is how they terrified their kids back then. And it was so scary that in 1746, they're like, done. You're done.
You're not allowed to terrify
We're
your
not doing
children with
this no
this
more.
anymore.
I couldn't find if that's when this version stopped
Mm-hmm.
and when the more,
Tame.
yeah, because the new ones sound a lot like gnomes,
Right.
a little more cheerful.
Right. Playful.
So, which lad for you would you be frightened?
The window one, just 'cause that's creepy.
Okay, so I'm in with the under the bed snatching your snacks because I I eat snacks,
I keep snacks.
right?
Right.
So that is kind of terrifying knowing that there's a troll under your bed
Right.
and gonna snatch up your
Yeah,
food.
that one's scary. The candle one too, just because if you're in sheer darkness and you're just constantly terrified that something's gonna come and snatch your candle and leave you in the pitch dark, unable to see where this thing is, that's scary too.
Right? Like all of them on some level. Some of their names sound a little not scary, can I
No.
say? Um, but their baseline is
Mm-hmm.
like the one that just hides anywhere in the kitchen and comes out with a hook.
Okay, yeah, that one's scary too.
So the premise behind that was hurry up and eat your food,
Yeah,
or the troll's going to come out of somewhere in the kitchen and eat it on you.
right.
Wow.
Right. Right.
It's a tradition,
It's
right?
yeah, that's an interesting one. I really didn't know that one. I mean, I've kind of heard the term before, but I didn't know the story that went with it. I had no idea.
I had no idea about it. I came across this story and I found it to be interesting because it
Hmm.
was like, wow, they really instilled fear.
They really did. And the fact that it was all the way up till Christmas. You had 13 days of
Yeah.
scary
So
because then you had the cat too, which
yeah, so you,
excuse.
you have a cat that's hungry that will also eat children.
Not to mention, mama's on the loose and she's just willing to snatch up children at any time.
Yeah, so the window watcher, he was to scare the children from leaving the house and wanting to go outside and play. Because
Hmm.
remember, like they've got at some parts of the year up to 20 hours of dark.
Right.
So it could be the middle of the afternoon, the kids want to go outside and play, maybe.
But it's pitch black and
Right, dangerous.
yeah.
So there's the parents. Oh no, the window watcher is coming,
That one would have kept me in the house.
right? Because then it's like, well, is Gorilla watching too? Are they
Right.
going to bring you to Gorilla?
Right.
Get eaten? Wow.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the two tales there, Chris? The two types of traditions?
I think they're interesting. I think that there's just so many traditions and stories that go around the holidays that we have no idea about because, they're not from around here. We didn't grow up with them. So it's really interesting to get to see what people all over the world are doing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it was an eye opener
Mm-hmm.
because, again, here the basic premise is if you're not good, he's not coming.
Right.
for most, that's
right?
scary. But when you look around, there's some traditions that are out of the ballpark
Mm-hmm.
scary. And then there's some that are like so intensely sound
Right.
fun.
It's neat to see how everybody approaches the holidays and how different traditions are done. Where is it going to be meant to keep the kids behaving? Is that what the tradition's all about? Or is it about pure joy and fun? And I think the holidays really embody all of those things, right? And the way we do things during the holidays.
I love the holidays, and finding out all these new things about different places in the world and how they
Hmm.
do things makes you want to travel,
Absolutely, it does.
see these things firsthand.
Hmm.
Well, this brings us to the end of our holiday tales and traditions showdown. Whether these stories were familiar or brand new, we hope you had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to share your own holiday tales and traditions with us. We love hearing from you. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to follow us so you never miss an episode. And until the peculiar calls again for another tale, happy holidays!